Welcome back to CBS Soap Dish Recap, where we recap everything CBS Soaps, both the young and the restless, and the bold and the beautiful. And this is your recap for the young and the restless for August 30th. And it looks like Abby is struggling with Chan's ability to balance family and his integrity. Looks like Adam has a change of heart when it comes to revenge and kind of have a bonding moment with his brother Nicholas. And Tessa and Abby decides to adopt. So before we do this, take a second to make sure you're subscribed to the channel and don't forget to like and share. So we're over at Crimson Lights and Chelsea is thanking Adam for his support. Adam is thanking Chelsea as well since she helped him reconsider going after Victor and convince him to give Jack's job offer more thought. Now, Sally spots the warm interaction between the two of them and interrupt with this fake nice act. So, of course, that's leaving them both suspicious. Now, they spar a little bit and go back and forth, and pretty much Adam is like, okay, what do you want, Sally? And so once Adam decides to leave, and this is where Sally decides that she wanted to corner Chelsea while she's now alone. And she snaps at her talking about how she certainly didn't waste any time. Now, Chelsea once again plays up her history with Adam and refuses to let Sally get in the way of being in a good place with him. Whether friendship or something more is going on, Chelsea argues that, you know what, Sally, pretty much it's none of your business. And honestly, it isn't. I mean, you had the opportunity. He told you the truth, why he broke up with you. You decided to dig in your heels. And now at this point, Adam said, okay, fine. You don't want me. I guess I'll move on. So whatever the situationship that's going on between Chelsea and Adam, Chelsea's actually right this time. It's none of their business. Plus, they got a kid together anyway. So then that's when Sharon shows up because she witnessed the tension between the two of them as Chelsea walks out. Sharon did suggest to her how she know how hard it is to let go. And Sally admits, you know what? It's true. She finally understands that Adam's primary relationship will always be with Victor. Sally talks about Adam going after Victor again and will wonder how Sharon deals with loneliness now that Ray is gone. Now that leads to Sharon also talking about her cancer battle and how she learned to cherish it every day, including when she spent times alone. She's alone, but she's not lonely because she have a lot of support system of her loved ones around her. And Sally also point out, very interesting to say the least, that includes Nick Newman. And Sharon agrees, you know, Nick is a good man and she's lucky to have him in her life. And I'm wondering where the writers are going with this. I'm hoping they're not going to try to put Sally with Nicholas. I think she needs to move on and just focus and clean up the mess in her head with regards to Adam. But I will say I am happy about the fact that Adam is not going after revenge. So now we're over at Newman Enterprises. Victoria suggests Sally should let Adam think she's on his side just to buy them some time. And I'm like, this girl, she's just like her father. Now, Nick, however, don't want Sally being used as a pawn and shut Victoria down with that whole attempt to protect him. Now, after Nick starts to say how he understands Adam's perspective, Victoria rants about how Adam is trying to slander Victor. And Nick was like, hey, it's not slander since the cover-up is true. But Victoria reminds Nick that it's an accident. Why are you still talking about this? Victor now appears. He insists that he can handle Adam's threats and will want to celebrate putting this whole dreadful Ashland Locke situation and chapter behind them. But in Nick's head, I don't think it's just that easy. Victor and Victoria can easily do that, but not so much with, of course, Nicholas, and they just don't see it. So now we're over at Society. We see Adam leaving a voicemail for Jack. I'm excited about that, as you can tell. and admit that he is reconsidering his offer. Now, of course, after he get off his phone call, because of course it looks like he's going to go ahead and take Jack up on that whole co-CEO offer, he happens to spot Victor, Nick, and Victoria looking like they're having a small celebration together. They're drinking champagne at the table. And of course, they're celebrating the fact that this whole thing is behind them, even though they're trying to talk Nick into feeling better about himself. Adam walks over and assures his family that, you know what, I'm going to pick up the tab, and I had an epiphany. He tells them that someone very close to him convinced him not to go down that vengeful road again. Of course, Victoria is skeptical after Adam walks off. But Victor reiterates that, you know what, I'll deal with Adam myself. Now, we see later on how Nick decides that, he needs to have a little bit of a conversation with him. And, it's just so crazy. I can't wait. I really would like to see their faces when they find out that he's now working Jabot as CEO. So then we see Nick approach Adam to see if this whole Epiphany deal is for real. Now, Adam promises, you know what, it is. And he starts to compare the whole AJ Montalvo cover-up to what just happened with Nick. Now, after Adam talks about how he suppressed what happened in Kansas for a long time, he admitted it turned him into who he is today. And he asked, Nick, is that what you want? And that definitely put some food on Nick's mind, because he's saying that, they should have let or had the opportunity to take accountability or process what they each have done, both with the AJ Montalvo situation and the Ashland Locke situation, which Victor stepped in and put his 2 cents in to cover it up. And honestly, Nick, watch what your brother's going through. I mean, you two are not the same, but at the same time, it's obviously something that Nick is struggling with. The question is he going to be able to get through it? Now, we're back over at Newman Enterprises. Victoria thanks her father for everything he did and suggests that Nick, deep down, he's grateful too. Now, although Victoria don't know what's going on inside Adam's head, Victor is vowing to protect the family, even if that means protecting them from one of their own. And that's just so unfortunate, I mean, hopefully, like we see, he's going over to Jabot, so hopefully that'll be a sweet revenge instead. We're on the GCAC rooftop. Chelsea is listening to part of the final podcast that Billy emailed her. And after Chelsea reflects on goodbyes and new beginnings, she calls her son Connor and admits that she's missing him. So now we're over at Chancellor Park. Dominic has just had his first birthday and they have a party for him. Abby, gets everybody to write down their favorite memories of Dominic's first year. That way, Dominic can open up a time capsule on his 18th birthday after he graduated from high school. Mariah and Tessa and Devon, they all read what they wrote down for Dominic. Abby notes that her favorite memory was Chance coming home to meet Dominic, and Chance admit that was his too. Now, after the whole party breaks up, Abby mentions about how quiet Chance has been. Now, Chance confesses that he's still dwelling on that whole Ashland Locke case and is trying to reconcile what he did. Abby urges Chance to stop second-guessing his decision, but he lashes out since he don't know who he can talk to about this. Now, Chance can't exactly just go around town telling people that his father-in-law committed a crime and that he's having trouble letting it go. Abby tries to soften it a bit and hate what this is doing to Chance, but he act like it's all good and everything, and she just don't understand that as much as she loves her family and the fact that her daddy has once again gotten out of trouble, her husband is struggling with this because he has a different level of integrity. Now, he gets that phone call he has to take off because he has to meet with an informant. in one of Ray's cases, which wraps up the final one of his entire caseload, Abby's now disappointed that he's bailing. But she hoped, for some family time with Chance and Dom once everything is done. Now, although Abby thinks that they need, a weekend together, Chance said he'll think about it. Once Abby is alone with Dom, Devon comes back because he forgot his tablet. Now, that gives Abby a chance to open up to Devon about, Chance and his work consuming him and this quote-unquote recent case that wasn't so cut and dry. Now, although Chance isn't like Victor, Devon assures Abby that family is still her husband's priority. And she got to understand her father and her husband are 2 lifetimes apart in the way they think. Victor thinks family first. And I mean, as much as Chance loves his family, he also has, of course, integrity. So Abby thanks Devon for the pep talk with the hug. And, you can tell she still looks uneasy. Now we're back at the coffee house. Mariah and Tessa give Sharon updates on Dominic's birthday bash. It made Tessa and Mariah want to dive back into their adoption process. So Sharon is excited, over this whole new next chapter. And so we'll see how this all works out. It was a pretty good episode. I'm looking forward to, seeing how revenge can come more of a constructive way with Adam working at Jabot against the Newmans. I'm happy about that versus him trying to take his father down with this information. But the information is still out there, so you never know what can happen. And then what do you think about Tessa and them trying to adopt? Okay, so there you have it, your recap for The Young and the Restless for Tuesday, August 30th, 2022. Stay tuned for The Bold and the Beautiful recap also for today. Let me know your thoughts about this episode, and until the next video, like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you soon. Bye.